Chelsea, thank you. To our in-depth coverage of last night's Democratic debate continues now with the state response to Monday's highway flooding situation, a key topic last night.
They responded the way they should under the circumstances. They cleared the roads as quickly as they could be cleared.
People suffered. They were in their cars trapped with children, dogs, not knowing what was going on, and that was a real mistake. I do not blame him for the weather. That was quite unfortunate.
I know the lack of communication because we experienced it first and foremost.
All right, so joining us in studio to dissect that debate last night is our political analyst, Joe Fleming. Thanks so much for being in early this morning. We appreciate it.
Again, a couple weeks in a row now. Thanks, Joe. A lot of ground to cover. Let's get right into it. 4 candidates, 1 hour. You know, that's not a lot of time for 4 candidates to kind of get their message across. Who stood out last night?
I think Helena Folk stood out last night. Okay. She really was focused. For example, talk about the rain and the flooding. She had a plan. She said there should have been a plan. We should have had a plan of what should be done because we had this problem 2 weeks ago. We should have had a communications plan also in place. So I think she really stood out. She was very decisive in what she was talking about last night.
All right, so our latest poll, which was still, a couple of weeks ago, showed a virtual tie between the governor and Nellie Gorbea. Now, you think that Folks was ahead last night, but she was, 14 points behind in our latest poll. So is there enough time to make up ground here?
Well, there's definitely enough time. Keep in mind, we had 21% undecided, and 42% of the voters who said they're going to vote for somebody said there's a chance they could change their mind. So if she got enough of voters last night to come around to her thinking, she could have moved some voters away from one of the other candidates over to her side. So there's a possibility. It's a long shot, but you never know what's going to happen in these races.
All right, back to the rain, because that's obviously dominated the topic of conversation over the last couple of days, and the flooding, shutting down parts of Route 95 and also Route 10. Governor McKee's opponents have criticized, as we just talked about, his response, calling it a failure of leadership. Now, is that image right there, you see right there, of this lake on the highway going to stick with voters when they head to the polls? Will it matter?
I'm not sure how much is going to matter. I mean, it was a force of nature that happened. We had 11 inches of rain in Cranston in a short period of time. I don't think whoever the governor was could have stopped that from happening. So how much blame they give Dan McKee, I'm not sure. The thing is, after it happened, what did he do? Did he take the right steps? That's what they're going to look at, the voters.
All right, another big criticism of the governor that we heard last night was on the federal investigation into his administration awarding that ILO group contract there. So, we heard a lot of questions about that last night. The governor refused to say, though, last night whether anyone in his administration has been subpoenaed. So what does avoiding the question and not giving a solid answer do to hurt the governor?
I think that could be a problem. I think that was his weak point last night. The governor talks about transparency. When you're not saying if there was any subpoenas issued, you're not showing the transparency. That could have an effect on him. The question is, though, there's only 6 days left to the primary. So how much can the other candidates use that? Can they put that into a commercial this quick? I'm not really sure if they can. But I think it's an issue that definitely could hurt the governor.
So last night, Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea took a couple of hits over some voting issues that we've seen recently. Wrong candidates appearing on some voting machines, candidates' names misspelled. Do these problems kind of undermine her record that she's been touting as Secretary of State?
Well, again, one little problem, probably not. But as the problems start to pile up, then people start to look at it and say, wait a minute now, what's going on here? For 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things. So again, this could have an impact. I'm not sure how much people are going to focus in on it over the next few days. But there's no question that definitely could have an impact as they pile up on her.
All right, let's talk Tidewater for a moment. That was certainly a big topic of discussion last night, especially because the taxpayers are going to pay $60 million for this project. And we know just about 35% of the Democratic primary voters support it. So overwhelming majority do not. So let's talk about that and how it impacts things as we head into the primary next week. Is it a big factor for voters?
Well, it's growing as a factor as time goes on, because the other opponents of Dan McKee are saying that it's a bad investment, that they would have voted against it if they were the tie-breaking vote. They would have restructured it to make the state come out better. They're saying Dan McKee has not done a good job with that. They're going to lose money on this investment. So again, we're running out of time, but it's definitely an issue that could have a negative effect on the governor.
All right, 6 days to go until the primary. Sprint to the finish line. Thank you, Joe, for coming in. If you missed the debate last night, you can see it in its entirety right now on our website, WPRI.com.